hard time seeing everyone. All right. If you're a vet, you know how this works. If you're not a vet, I'm going to run through it real quick. On your left foot, that's when I'm going to start the call. That's when you start repeating it. Odd number left foot. 1. Even number right foot. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want everyone marching in place. If you're able.
Take yours, RP! Louder, First Sergeant!
Oh, it's going to get louder. All right. We all start at the same time. Forward, march. Left, 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 left.
And this is what I love about what the Iraq Vets Against the War have done today. They've brought us together as human beings. And tonight you'll hear from many people. Some people who are on their way to Afghanistan, some people who have been there. You'll hear from artists, you'll hear from historians, and hopefully we'll hear from some of you as well. And as Aaron said, this is just the beginning of a community dialogue. And to start the dialogue out is Alex Villataro.
I wanted to look for those who were responsible for 9/11. I wanted to be the best soldier. I wanted to do my job at the very best, you know. And my main mission is to accomplish that. Very quickly we found out that there was no weapons of mass destruction. Through rumors and the media and all that stuff, we found out that there was no connection with Al-Qaeda. So our mission all of a sudden became, we're here to liberate Iraq. I'm sorry to say this, but at the beginning I really did not give a fuck about liberating Iraq. I joined and I trained to defend this country, you know. And during the deployment, you know, during the missions and going to towns, you know, I saw the tragedy of war. It's just the poverty, the kids, the suffering, and it was stressful. As a 20-year-old, it was just too much for me.
Primarily, the big difference is a draft versus a volunteer army. What you see with a volunteer army is that fewer and fewer people are really affected by what goes on. These are called the quiet wars for a real interesting reason. It's because generally the population is not directly affected by the kind of stuff that's going on in Afghanistan and Iraq, even though we're losing soldiers every week and people are having funerals when they come home. It's not a big mass general thing. There were tens of thousands of people killed in Vietnam, funerals all the time and spread all over the country because of the way the draft worked. So I think that makes a big difference. What you end up with in Chicago or around here are ethically, morally, and religiously based protests that are more about what people believe and what they feel about warfare in general, or these wars in particular, than about the likelihood they would ever be drawn into them through a draft.
Used to date a beauty queen.
Now I date an M16.
Now I date an M16.
Used to date a beauty queen.
Used
M16.
Now I need an M16.
Whoa, 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 yeah.
Whoa, yeah.
Whoa, I gotta go.
Whoa, I gotta go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Overall, you know what's going on is we get new members. Like from what I understand, we get new members every day. And the trend used to be where we'd get new members and they would just simply be like paper members. You know, they really wouldn't participate very much. Yeah, maybe they would come out for this or that. And then as we started to grow, you know, 2004, 2005, we started to grow. 2006, 2007. Now we get to 2008, 2009, 2010. More and more people are signing up with IVAW and they're checking boxes like I want to lead a campaign, or I want to speak at an event, or I want to learn this, that, and the third. And it's really an awesome sign to see that veterans are willing to step up to their role as a prominent voice in a movement. All IVAW members want immediate withdrawal of all occupying forces from Iraq. We also demand reparations for the Iraqi people for damage done in the wake of this debacle. And last but not least, we certainly want the returning veterans who had to also suffer to receive
now! Bring the troops home now! Bring the troops home now!
Just the other day I heard a drill sergeant say,
Just the other day I heard a drill sergeant say,
you wanna be a soldier, you gotta do it my way.
you wanna be a soldier, you gotta do it my way.
Drive on, soldier.
Drive on, soldier.
Drive on, soldier.
Drive on, soldier.
I re-enlisted and I went off to what that time was PLDC, which is sergeant school, and I learned how to become a leader and take initiative and look out for the soldiers. And because of that, I started looking more into the wars. Why are we not winning these wars? Why is it taking so long? Why are we having so many conflicts? And I wanted to be up to date so I could train my soldiers, and see how we could resolve this problem. And the more and more I found out, is I became discouraged, and I wanted to know if there was anybody that felt the same way as I did, and that's how I found Iraqi Veterans Against War. I'm opposed, and I believe that what we did in Iraq was illegal. Now, at the beginning of this year, it's been a long process for me. Being in the military and building relationships with my soldiers in the military and training them, and I decided to file for conscientious objection at the beginning of February, the first weekend of February. And I was determined to go to my commander and say, I want to file for this, and these are my reasons why, and I want out. And the same day I wanted to do that, my commander told me, well, I'm about to tell the company we're about to get deployed to Afghanistan.
There have always been people who opposed war. There were conscientious objectors. And even in the era of Vietnam, there were people who like Fathers Berrigan and a collection of others, opposed that war on religious grounds. And some of us were drawn to that. Some of us were very active in Catholic-based peace movements. But now that's a primary motivator in many of these cases. You're talking about young people who have moral opposition to warfare itself, and so they protest for that reason. That component was not that big during the Vietnam War.
One thing we do is we do GI outreach. So we'll remind the soldiers that they have, a duty to uphold the Constitution, and that in the case of this conflict, your grounds for use as a tool were not met, and so you do have, unlike other conflicts, this one's we're not on the winning team.
Today, not only are the authorities a lot more sophisticated about how to handle crowds, I think a lot of the value, and I use that word in a weighted way, a lot of the value has been taken out of violent protests. People are offended by that. And if the objective of any movement is to grow and to affect policy, you don't want to be offending people with your behavior. It sounds a little bit like a cop-out, except it's not. What you're trying to do is win hearts and minds. You're not trying to make a statement by ending up in jail after you burn down a bus someplace,
Well, I was standing here as I always do. I was offering flyers, and I offered the flyer to a family, and this fellow came by and he said, "Get that out of my daughter's face." And I said, "Well, I didn't put it in your daughter's face. I have a constitutional right to flyer on public property." And he got very abusive with us, and he's called the police.
Tell me whatever. What's it for the sign?
I said, "What's the problem with it?" He said, "Fuck you." I said, "Fuck you, people who created it." So he started doing this, and I called this because somebody else this is in the police record, at the Kimball, when we have another vigil, they hit me with something. I don't know whether it was a phone or I don't know, the blackjack or something, hit me in the head. It started bleeding. They took me to the thing. And I was expecting this.
Just so you know, I'm not giving you permission to audio tape me. So you understand that. I'm not giving you permission to audio tape this.
But I am
police
in
investigation. I'm just telling you, I am not giving you permission to audio tape.
Right,
so you understand. Just so you understand, you don't have a right to audio tape me. So please don't. This is going to be a private matter forever. So I'm asking you to please leave. Okay? This is private with this person.
Okay.
Just respect his right. I'm not giving you permission to audio tape me. So please.
But I am in a public area.
I understand this, but just please move to the side. Please move to the side. You're impeding.
He said the reason he complained was I somehow was blocking the little girl's path when I passed out my flyer. I've been doing this since July 2005. I know not to block people's path. I never touch anyone. And I think he just didn't like our message, and he just wanted to say something to me, and that was an opportunity. And then he calls the police and makes a big deal of it.
You got it.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, kill!
Left, right, left, right, left, right, kill!
Left, right, yes, I will!
Left, right, yes,
Stop! Stop! I want you to stop and think about what just happened in this room. As you can see, I can hardly talk about it. 17-year-old boy, me, goes down to Fort Benning amidst all this fanfare and high gloss and fun, singing songs, clapping, singing songs about killing. And you see how easy it is to get drawn into it. And that is the first step towards developing the mentality that put us all in Afghanistan, put 80 of my close friends in Afghanistan and Iraq. I was led for a period of time to believe that it needed to be broken. And I know it doesn't need to be broken. It shouldn't be broken. I know that you and me need to come together, continue this dialogue, starting right now, and stand up together and say stop.
Stop.
Stop!
Stop.
Stop!
Stop.
Now.
It's what's tearing our families apart. It's what's tearing our minds apart. It's what's tearing our hearts apart. And not just ours, theirs too. Yours, mine, everyone's. That's it. Thanks for listening.
There is nothing as important as the people responding on the anniversaries of these criminal wars and coming out into the streets and protesting. We cannot let one anniversary go by without running out into the streets and standing up for our sisters and brothers in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Palestine, and in Haiti, and everywhere in the world that the U.S. is trying to dominate other people. We must be out in the streets and raise our flag to Afghanistan and solidarity with them. This 8 years plus long war is not only a crime for what it's doing to our sisters and brothers in the countries and in the lands I just mentioned, it's a crime for what it's doing to people here. Washington, whether Democrat or Republican, whatever administration it is, falls over itself in order to give money to the banks, to serve the banks, and to give money to the Pentagon. Every single dollar spent on this war is money that's not being spent on our health care, our schools, it's jobs we're losing, and in every single one of our communities in Chicago and across this country right now, the crime is being carried out in thousands of ways. And for the most part, it goes like this. When we need education, when we need jobs, when we need housing, when we need equality, the government says, not now. There's not enough money. Sisters and brothers, that's a lie. And no one in the White House, whoever it is, who's ever occupying that mansion in Washington, is going to take the people's side. We must take our own side and build